Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast, Super Bowl edition. We now know who the best team of 2022 was. It was the Chiefs. Chiefs ended up winning by a final of 38-35 over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57. I know all three of us have a lot to say, but again, Josh Palet, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palet. Looking forward to talking not only a little bit of Super Bowl with you, but also everything that went into this week to get ready as I'm dying to know if anybody actually died going to Mario's Super Bowl party. So we'll get into all that stuff, including comments that you have about the show as well. So Josh, we'll start with you. As you said, I got a lot to say. What's the first thing on your mind?
I have a lot of things to say that aren't football related, but we'll stick with football to start this show. My biggest takeaway from the game yesterday was how good the quarterbacks were. I thought Jalen Hurts, despite the fumble, played out of his mind. One of the best games I've seen Jalen play in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes, we've said it all year, you can't stop him. I mean, it doesn't matter who's on the team. You got Juju or Valdez Scantling or Kadarius Toney. It does not matter. He's the best player in the league. He showed it yesterday on one leg, even though Dave thinks he's faking an injury. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. Oh, yeah, he still won. Patrick Mahomes is still the best player in the NFL, and he proved it again yesterday in the Super Bowl.
Hold on 1 second, Mara, before you jump in, all right? Because I know it's your turn. You can't say you're faking an injury and you still won. It could be saying he had an injury and still won. He's still 100%, right?
How's he 100%?
He was 100%. Oh, really? Because he had the longest run of his whole goddamn season during the game yesterday. And he did it in the game against the Bengals. He ran his ass off. The guy only limps when he gets tackled or when he throws an incomplete pass.
Dude, because they shot him up with horse tranquilizer at halftime. Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah.
Probably Adderall.
What do you think happens in that tent, dude?
Hey, I know you guys said after the show you both have to go outside and chase the unicorn that's around the backyard, but hey, can we finish and focus what we're doing here? I mean, you guys are a joke.
Did you see? Okay, I would agree with you if it wasn't for when he was on the bench, he took his helmet off and he put his head in the trainer, where I was like, dude, that guy's in a lot of pain. If he just took his helmet off and went just grab the shoulder pad, just lean back a little bit. But the fact that he was moving in agony, I think he was in a little bit of pain.
But yes, you know what he said to the trainer? Is the camera on me now? And then he went. That was it. Red light, Patrick. I can't believe this. You guys are falling for this. Did he look injured to you? Did he look injured? Come on.
100%. He was hobbling. Yeah. He had Toradol. They announced he took.
Kurt Schilling is calling BS. Kurt Schilling's like, this is a joke. It's a bad joke.
Hey, regardless,
with the wheelchair. The only thing missing was
either way he won.
The wheelchair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He won. Okay. He was great. Yeah. He doesn't need the excuse.
Yeah. It was a part of the script, God. Dave.
100%. This time it was. Did the Lombardi Trophy come with a summer dress? Give me a break. Toughen up. Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you up, Mario, but man, am I irritated with this Patrick Mahomes garbage. Go ahead.
Well, going off that, unbelievable game. If you would have told me Jalen Hurts is going to throw for 300 yards, he's going to rush for 70, he's going to have 4 total touchdowns, I would have told you, congratulations, Philadelphia, you won a Super Bowl. But the fact of the matter is that they're playing what Dave would call the best actor in the NFL. I'm going to call the best player in the NFL on the other side. And when you have that guy going against you on the other side and you combine that with Big Red calling plays, you're just simply not going to win the game. I thought it was an incredible game. I enjoyed watching the game. Jalen Hurts, if people have any questions on who he is as a player, if he's a franchise type of player, that was the staple upon staple. The throws he made, the windows he got it in was truly, truly unbelievable. And I loved all of it. My ticket of Mahomes over throw 300 yards passing, burnt pretty quick. Really, really crashed and burned hard. Could have crashed faster, but fun game to watch. And I hate to say it, guys. I hate when I'm right, but I'm right.
Dude, you should have started that way. 100%. You're the only guy that picked the Chiefs. I was thinking about it yesterday. The guy was the only one that picked the Chiefs. Not only did I think the Eagles win, I didn't think it was going to be that close. So when we made our picks, and I want to talk about Mahomes and Jalen real quick as well, but when we made our picks, I said to Mario, I'm going Philadelphia because they're better at this, and this. And a matter of fact, I'm going to make my picks against everything I've ever believed in NFL football, meaning how important the head coach and quarterback relationship is when you have an offensive coach. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. I mean, I got beat by my own theory as far as saying this is the key to success. And that's exactly what the Chiefs are. Andy Reid's amazing. And Andy Reid yesterday, tip of the hat to Andy Reid for what he did to Eric Bieniemy, where he called out Eric Bieniemy's name every chance he got after the game to give him a lot of credit, because everyone believes Eric Bieniemy is just a guy. Then Andy Reid's control of that offense. And for all we know, Andy Reid called every single play and was involved in every play, and wouldn't surprise any of us if he did. But he knows Eric Bieniemy can't get hired, that Eric Bieniemy is stuck in his shadow. And for him to go out there and say Eric Bieniemy called a hell of a game, and he gave him almost all the credit possible in every single interview I saw him do after the game, that was a chance to give Eric Bieniemy a fresh start. And it's going to take someone, and I know we're a little bit off topic, it's going to take Eric Bieniemy probably to leave KC to prove he can do it somewhere else before he gets a legitimate shot, because some of these coaches that are getting hired or getting interviewed, Bieniemy should be that guy, right? 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, offensive game plans, insane. I mean, we'll get into the offensive game play calling, which was crazy in the red zone yesterday for the Chiefs, and how good it was. And if that's Bieniemy, fine. If that's Andy Reid, fine. But Bieniemy has the title of OC. Okay, real quick, Patrick Mahomes, got to help me out here. I'm going to tell you right now, I said if he loses, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Well, he won the game. He is a Hall of Famer now. For me, he's a Hall of Famer. I know everyone else said he's in.
your book.
No.
The book that nobody reads.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I think right now my book matches your guys' book. Is that what we're doing here?
Your book didn't get published.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now I'm saying he's a Hall of Famer. Do I think he was faking that injury? 100% he was faking the injury. Come on. High ankle sprain. It doesn't look that way. We all know athletes that have high ankle sprains. I hate to say it. I'm a Laker fan. I see Anthony Davis. When he's hurt, he says he's hurt. He's out 6 weeks. Okay. So are you laughing at Anthony Davis, Josh? Because I don't like it.
I am.
So
100%.
Patrick Mahomes was
Player.
outstanding. Okay. I feel bad for you, Mario. You didn't get the 300 yards. He threw for 182 yesterday. Okay. Well, that's not exactly his fault. They couldn't get the goddamn ball. You know, they never seemed to have a chance. He was great. Everything about the Chiefs, the game plan was outstanding. The fact that Jalen Hurts was responsible for 5 touchdowns yesterday, absolutely incredible. Now, right now, you're thinking 4, but he was responsible for the most important touchdown, and that was the fumble that went the other way for the touchdown against the Chiefs. And unfortunately, Jalen has to wear that because he played an amazing game. But boy, that fumble that turned into 7 really came back to hurt, because at that point, they were about to go up 21-7 in the second quarter. And boom, next thing you know, it's 14-14 off of that fumble from Jalen. But hey, I don't know if you guys noticed, it kind of felt a little bit like the Chargers against the Jaguars in the second half. Did you guys get that same feeling that, wait a second, they are scoring on every drive? And they did. The Chiefs scored on every drive in the second half, just like the Jags did to the Chargers, and they couldn't stop it. The difference is we know what the Chargers are. The Eagles are supposed to have like this number 1 defense and wait till they get to the quarterback and everything else. How many times was Mahomes sacked yesterday?
0.
I mean, here's, as I like to say, man, if that was our defense coach, we'd have him fired. That's what most teams in the NFL would say. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't their defensive coach about to get hired as the head coach in Arizona?
Isn't that final candidate? Yeah.
So you're like, I mean, he did it in the stadium where he's supposed to be the new head coach. That wasn't a good sign. That wasn't a good sign at all. So I don't know. You guys tell me. I know I went off in a bunch of different ways here, but a couple things. The quarterback play, as far as the future of both guys, I want to ask you, where's their ranking today, and where do you see them, let's say, in 5 years? And at the same time, Andy Reid, where he's at, because year 24 wins a Super Bowl. Andy Reid says he's coming back for year 25. Coaching wise, how long does Andy Reid do this? Eric Bieniemy, all that stuff. There's so much to talk about what happened with the Chiefs yesterday.
Okay, first off, the difference between the Chargers and the Eagles is the Eagles scored on 2 out of their 3 possessions in the second half. The Chargers will just piss down their leg in 3 downs. It's not even a comparison. That's not even true. Also, with Eric, the thing about Eric Bieniemy, the thing I don't understand is, why does Mike McDaniel get a job when he's under Kyle Shanahan? He's in the same room as him, learning how he runs the offense, learning how they score. Why can't Eric Bieniemy get a job? He's in the same room as
Good
Andy
call.
Reid. He sees how they scheme and do their things in Kansas City. I think Eric Bieniemy deserves a job as much as anybody in the NFL. I think any team would be dumb not to hire him, especially if you're a team like the Texans or one of these really bad organizations like the Bears, right, Mario, where you need to find a way to score, and you get a guy like Eric Bieniemy who knows how to do it. But Andy Reid, I think he has to be in the conversation, obviously, as a top. I mean, Dave, you're older than me. I'm not making an old joke here, but you're older than me. I say he's like a top 5 coach of all time, right? Andy Reid is.
I agree. And it's not just because he was a Super Bowl champion yesterday. Andy Reid has always been a great coach. And people, when he coached Philadelphia, they'd tell you the same things. You know, Andy Reid, honestly, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, obviously. He's an amazing coach. And anyone who's ever played for him says good things about him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's definitely – I'm not looking – I mean, I don't have a list of NFL head coaches. Look, I don't have a list of records, win-losses, or any of that to the left of me right now. But top of my head, I definitely think he goes down as top 3 offensive minds, 100%. And I'm not surprised he's, like, not retiring solely for the fact of he had a lot of success with Philadelphia. But I think also to that point, he didn't win Super Bowls, and he has Mahomes, a generational talent. So I could see in his head going – why don't I just win the Super Bowls I should have won in Philly? Like, this is like the me making up now, where he was kind of in a Kyle Shanahan-like situation before that, where it's like, here's this guy, offensive genius. Everyone wants to copy what he's doing, but he hasn't won the big dance yet. You know, he hasn't really got there yet. So that's kind of like my thing on Reid is I was like, maybe I think he'll stay around. And I think I could see him riding it out until Kelce does. And then being like, okay, once Kelce's done, I'm done. Or just because he is a little older and, I mean, he's not the healthiest guy, you know, out there, you know, like, let's just be honest though, you know, like he's not. So that's the thing that I thought of. And with Eric Bieniemy, I completely agree. There's like this obsession with going after shit. I mean, I'm what?
You say you agree about the Bears that can't score? Is that the part you agree with?
Yeah, I mean, they can't score. It's this piss poor organization. McCaskey's lost up there. He's in, you know, euphoria. He's not in the real world. Virginia, God bless her, but what are we doing here? And piss poor organization. But and then Matt Nagy wins a ring. But let's get back to Nagy and that bum, that miserable bum. All right, so Eric Bieniemy has gotten a coaching job, right? I completely agree. He deserves a coaching job. If we're gonna hand out coaching jobs to every OC that gets touched by McVay and Shanahan, then Reid should be in that conversation, right? This is a conspiracy. I'm not one for conspiracies, but when it comes to people I really dislike, I am all for it. And this one comes to, if you look at how, like, let's be honest, how bad of a job Nagy did in his time in Chicago. Like, after that first year, how freaking miserable it was. I could see people going like, okay, I'm going to pause real quick just on anyone coming through there. Just being like, I don't know, like, that was such a train wreck. He was so bad. He was so miserable. He had BU on his play call sheet when he should never be himself, be anyone but yourself. You know, like, if take acting classes, learn how to be someone else and be that person and not yourself because yourself sucks. So I think maybe that's a conspiracy theory why people are staying away from Eric. Now,
yourself sucks.
Yeah. So getting back to the game though, hell of a game. I think this is by far the least talented team I've remembered in like a little bit winning a Super Bowl. In terms of like no number one wideout. The number one wideout's Kelce, which is crazy. Juju's not number one. I hate Juju. He's not very good. Not. MVS isn't number one. Like, there was no number one and they still did it. That's pretty unbelievable.
I tell you what, it was unbelievable. It was, I mean, really sad. I hate to say it for Charger fans. Because you're looking at that team going, they got rid of Tyreek Hill. And you're going, this is supposed to be maybe a down year. They have all these young guys. You have 3 cornerbacks who are rookies. Isaiah Pacheco, no one knew who Isaiah Pacheco was a year ago. The guy runs like a maniac, you know? And he is tough to bring down. And you sitting here going, oh my gosh, how long do we have to sit there and do this with the Chiefs? If you love the Chargers or you're a fan of any team in the AFC, you have to be sitting there going, oh my God, I need Andy Reid to retire. I need something to shake this thing up. It's a good call, Mario, when you say about Kelce. I mean, I think it would have to take Kelce to go to maybe say it's not going to be as good. I'm going to be gone because Mahomes is going to play another 10 years at least. He's not going anywhere. So I can see Andy Reid coaching for 35 seasons in the NFL, but there's so much there, man. There's so much in your rant right there. I think my favorite part is that you called the owner of the Bears by her first name, that you called her Virginia, which was hilarious. But but I sit there and I look at the Chiefs, and man, I root against the Chiefs because obviously they won that game the way they beat everybody else, right at the end. And you just go, damn, man, it's the same thing. Like, how can you sit there and play this many close games and be on the winning side of all of them? And yet the Chiefs are able to continue to do this over and over again. Mahomes, Josh, always says, oh, he's the best maybe ever right now. I think you said that in September. He's the best quarterback in the history of the NFL right now. He's incredible. But going back to what Mario, you said a second ago about Andy Reid maybe should have won in Philadelphia. Andy Reid said something after the game yesterday that I was wondering, was that a shot at the guys he used to have in Philadelphia? When he said, Mahomes puts up great numbers. He's striving to be better every single day. He doesn't walk around here telling you what his resume is. He could easily do it, but he doesn't. He's not that guy, never will be that guy. He's just about becoming the best football player he can be every single day. Now, was that a shot at, again, you guys are young, especially Mario. I mean, I think you were 5 years old when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. But that was the Terrell Owens game. If you have any recall of Terrell Owens was, I love some me about me, or whatever the quote was. It was always the Terrell Owens show. And then it was the Donovan McNabb show. And there's so many in-house fightings just in huddles during games. And Andy Reid, I wonder if he said, look, it's always been the same offense and same play calling and the same kind of talent. But when you have a quarterback who believes in team first, we can go a lot further than what I had to deal with it in Philadelphia, which eventually cost him his job.
I think he was definitely saying that. Unfortunately, Jalen would have been the perfect quarterback for Andy Reid because Jalen's all about the team. Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens never seemed like they were completely about the team, especially Terrell Owens. He was so freaking annoying his entire career, every team he was on. But I don't know, man. The game yesterday to me was really interesting because it didn't play out the way I thought it would. It never does, it seems like. We kept hearing about the Eagles' defensive line was going to be the difference maker. They had all the sacks, right? They led the NFL in sacks. They couldn't touch Patrick Mahomes yesterday. The Chiefs' offensive line was amazing. And I agree with Mario. This is the least talented team I can remember in the Super Bowl. Maybe going back to some of those Patriots teams, where it's like, who's Brady throwing the ball to besides Gronkowski? There's nobody else on this team. There's no big names on the defense, just like the Chiefs. You have Nick Bolton, who's turned into their hero. I mean, him and Chris Jones is a big name, but Nick Bolton's the guy that's making all the plays for that Chiefs defense. Andy Reid, to me, is the Bill Belichick of offense. He's the best offensive mind of the modern day football era, just like Bill Belichick is for defense. He needs to get more credit. I mean, he probably is getting enough credit, but he is amazing. I think Andy Reid can win with anybody. And I would ride out my career as long as Patrick Mahomes plays, if I can do it with my health and my age and everything else. Because Patrick Mahomes, I'd be afraid of him playing for another coach and still playing great. And then people think you're not so great. They said Patrick Mahomes is so good, he'll make any coach look good. So if I'm Andy Reid, I would hitch my wagon to Patrick Mahomes' entire career.
I would do the same thing. I mean, ride it till it goes down. And when Mahomes is that good, and it's just beyond interesting to me too, is this Chiefs season was a gamble. They extend Mahomes, but you have to. That's generational talent. And I also want to get into Hurts and his contract extension because I think it means a lot for the Chargers as well. But it's fascinating to me is when you hear about building a team now, it's all about QB, and then you got to get that wide out. Bengals are known for skipping on getting an alignment and just go getting that tier top one wide out, right? And you're like, that's the recipe right now. That's what you need to do. Bills did that with Stephon Diggs. And Chiefs just made the biggest gamble ever going, we're going to let Tyreek Hill walk out the door and we're going to trade him. And you see the effect he has right away on the Dolphins, where it's like very clear that he's a very special player. And Dave and I, obviously, I've said this multiple times, but we're sitting here going, yeah, I don't see how the Chiefs just do this again. And they take what everyone else is doing and they laugh in their face and go, we're just going to rely on the talent and the schemes and everything we have here and go up against you guys who have all these number one receivers and this number one talent, and we'll see what happens. And it worked. It's like son of a gun, it worked. Like, holy hell, like who the hell thought that this would have worked? And I think that part of it is so interesting to me. And I'm very interested to see just if other NFL teams change the perspective on it, just being like, okay, they just won with a bunch of number 2 to 3 wideouts and an unbelievable tight end. And then they couldn't have swung and hit more of a home run with the QB. So that's just all I thought about the whole game was like, are they really going to win with wideouts that in 5 years, it's going to be a trivia game if you can name one? You know, we're going to be like, dude, are you freaking serious that Kadarius Toney freaking scored in that game? And that's what he had? And they're like, wait to hear about Juju. So it's insane to me.
How about Kadarius Toney? I mean, I'm sure there are people who go, you can make the argument he could have been MVP. I mean, the punt return, you know, the receptions, the big plays for Kadarius Toney. I mean, hate to say it because this hurts as, you know, 3 guys that followed the Chargers. We were pushing for Kadarius Toney to be a Charger. The Giants gave up on him. And you see the talent that he has and how athletic he is and how with the right coaching, let me tell you, he hasn't even touched his potential. You're going to see a much better Kadarius Toney next year. He's honestly one of the most talented guys in the NFL. It's amazing to me that the Giants and Brian Daboll, won Coach of the Year, cannot figure out how to communicate with this guy to get the most out of him. So a couple things that stand out to me on this game I want to touch on. The second half adjustments, I'm amazed. I mean, absolutely amazed. When you're watching this game, if you turned it off in the first half or you fell asleep or you had to go to work, or you missed the second half, you're going, it's a lock. Philadelphia's going to win. And Mario Ferrano, a guy that gambles, I'm sure big time money came on the Eagles to blow the Chiefs out in the second half, because if it wasn't for that fumble by Jalen, then it would have been, 7 less points for the Chiefs. And the Eagles just look so dominating. They just look great. And then all of a sudden, here come the Chiefs, and we talked about they scored on every possession. I was so impressed with the red zone play calling, guys, in this game. And I'm one of those guys where it's more fun, I understand, to just follow the ball, to watch the offense and defensive line and everything else. But over 90% of the people watch the ball when the ball is snapped. And what the Chiefs did, I'm sure Josh picked it up right away, but for guys like me who don't pick this stuff up, what the Chiefs did when they sent a guy in motion, and as soon as Slay or another cornerback would turn their head to signal that there's a guy in motion, they would snap the ball. And they caught the Eagles off balance every single time. And it worked. And what they waited for was the signal of them saying a player's in motion to make sure that someone has that guy. And then, boom, the ball snapped, and guys are so far wide open. It was crazy. I mean, stuff you don't even see in college of guys being that open on touchdowns in the red zone. We've talked about being on the sideline before, or having tickets that you're sitting in the red zone somewhere in there. And when you watch that close, you go, there's nobody open. How does anybody ever score in the red zone? You have 22 jam-packed bodies. And the fact the Chiefs were doing it and guys are open by 10 and 20 yards, it was mind-blowing to me. And that goes to the genius of either Andy Reid figuring out what they were going to do as a second-half adjustment, or Eric Bieniemy, or somebody saw it to go, we can take advantage of the Eagles right here. This is where we're going to get our scores. And Josh, again, you're probably telling me right now as I'm talking, you're probably thinking, hey, dummy, of course everybody saw that. I didn't see that. I didn't know. I didn't realize that's how it worked. I didn't see that. And if that's common, I don't know why the Chargers don't do it.
Yeah, I don't think most people saw that. I think that's a great way of you looking at the game. Like you said, most people are just watching the ball. They're not looking at the guys on defense signaling who's coming. But I think that just goes to show what Mario just said. The value on the head coach is not what it should be. When you're talking about a first-round pick for Sean Payton, how is that like a no-brainer decision of we're going to do that? The head coach makes such a huge impact on who wins or loses this game, way more than a first-round pick ever will. The coach could be there for 25 years. The first-round pick could be there for five years. It doesn't matter. My point is the head coach makes such a big difference in these games. Why would you not put your resources towards the guy you believe is a difference maker like Sean Payton? That's what I thought of yesterday. Imagine if the Chargers had a guy like Sean Payton who can coach against Andy Reid, and they're kind of similar to offensive great minds. I would like that for my team.
It'd be pretty nice, and especially you got to see an offensive mind go against one of the best defenses and once again prevail. Like I thought of earlier this year when they faced the Niners, and this was like the Niners defense is unbelievable, and they're invincible, and they're all this and all that. Put up 44 on them. We have the Eagles defense, who's just monsters, sack leaders, like just everyone that D-line is going to hit you. And then suddenly you face a great offensive mind. What happens? 0 sacks. 0 sacks. And by the way, they run all over you. Which, who the hell would have thought that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to have more rushing yards than the Eagles? The gambling line on that one, and if you took it and placed $50 on it, that's a Cancun trip. Like, that would have been, no one was going to see that coming, dude. Like, there's just no one else going to see that coming. The adjustments that Andy Reid made were unbelievable. Every possession, I think we already mentioned, but every possession that Chiefs had second half, they scored. Just unreal. And now I'm just sitting here, and like the first year I thought, I was like, can the Chiefs do this again? And it's like, yeah, they can. And also, now that I get on that topic too, congratulations to the Chiefs, everything like that. Hoorah. My girlfriend's family blew up my phone. You know, they're going nuts about it, getting a bunch of pictures. Now, Travis Kelce, I want to introduce you into something. So there's something called gambling, and in gambling you get futures and you get prices on teams, and that gives you, the higher the price, the least likely they're going to win the Super Bowl. And I think he needs to look at that and realize that the Chiefs are always like really high up there in terms of having to lay in a lot of juice to get your return. So no one was doubting you. And by the way, buddy, numb nuts, when you go into an off season and you have from now to August going on a TV, on radio, on a podcast, and just going, hey, the favorite, the Chiefs, the best player is going to win the Super Bowl, doesn't get the clicks, buddy. That doesn't do it. That doesn't cash in the checks. That doesn't bring the flowers on Valentine's Day, the chocolate strawberries. That doesn't do that. What does it is doing research and saying, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the 2023 Super Bowl, and here's why. That's what gets it, dude. That's what does it. People don't want to hear the obvious take. They want to hear the unique take. So that's why if you feel slighted, it's because of that, dude. It's not because no one's thinking about you. You're on everyone's mind. That annoyed the crap out of me.
Dude, I'm with you. It was old, man. It is old. I tell you, the Chiefs make it so it's hard to like them. You know, I can sit there and point at different things about the Chiefs, and I can go, man, this is why I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like the Hunt family. I'll tell you right now. I think it's ridiculous. I hate to say it. I'm one of those guys that follows the Hunt family on Instagram. It drives me crazy, okay? It's like everything is just too perfect. Is there jealousy here? 100%. There's jealousy. Do I wish I was a part of the Hunt family? Here I am. I wish I was. But I'm not, so I can't stand you. Andy Reid I like, but Andy Reid's had a tough road, okay? Patrick Mahomes, faking it like crazy. All right. His brother drives me nuts. His wife drives me nuts. His mother drives me crazy. And I was okay with his dad until 2 weeks ago. Done with the entire Mahomes family. Okay. Like, I hate him so much. If they lived in my neighborhood, I wouldn't even be cool for me to tell you, hey, guess who lives in my neighborhood? Guess who's moving? I'm moving. I don't want to live in the same neighborhood as the Mahomes. Kelce's an extreme talent. Maybe is the greatest tight end of all time. But to go on TV nonstop and scream, nobody picked us. Please. Yeah, come on, man. I mean, you're the Chiefs. You just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago before this. You've won 2 in 4 years. Calm down. You know, whatever you need to tell yourself to get out of bed and start lifting weights, Travis, that's fine. But everyone knows you're great. No one's ever slighted you or your team or where you guys rank in history. None of that stuff. So, but just sit there and scream it in the microphone, you sound like a dope. You just sound like the biggest idiot of all time. And I'm with you, Mario. That was one of those things that's just an old storyline that's I was like, no one's sitting at home going, yeah, nobody picked the Chiefs. I don't know about you guys, but I had the Texans this year. Nobody, everybody, the Chiefs were in the top 3, right? Who were you talking? You were talking Buffalo, you're talking Cincinnati, and Cincinnati was behind the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, it was Buffalo and Kansas City the whole year. Everybody was saying that before the season began and while the season was going. So save it, man. We're all done with that stuff. Come on, Travis.
I couldn't agree more. I want to talk about the halftime show.
Wait, please, let's get into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk? Go ahead. You want to go halftime show? Because I want to talk about the biggest factor, what I thought was in the game. But go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, go. Let's keep it for the game first before we go to halftime show.
Biggest factor of the game, and this isn't hyperbole. I'm not trying to get a reaction out of you guys, but I tell you, I was disappointed by it, and I'm sure a lot of people who watch football on a regular basis and going, there's a reason why you don't have home games for number 1 seeds because they might play in cold weather, and that could be Buffalo, that could be KC. Or Philadelphia, and you go on, man, weather became a factor. It's supposed to be perfect game day conditions where the only thing that matters is football, and the field became a giant factor. and the field was ridiculous. The guys were changing shoes 3 times trying to find the right cleats. From what they were saying, there was so much goddamn paint on the field. Sound like Meet the Parents. So much lacquer on that damn thing. There's so much paint on the field. They said it was like an ice rink, and guys are slipping, even to the point on kickoffs where it looked like the kicker almost snapped his ankle. And you're watching guys go down. So it changed the game. Not saying one team an advantage and have an advantage, but George Toma, who's like 90 years old, who everybody has kissed his ass for 40 years, calls himself the Sod Father, wears a shirt every day that says Sod Father on it. This was a bad way to go out for George, and George made his name because, again, as I'm showing my age here, this is the game, the famous catch where Dwight Clark catches that ball in the end zone. Joe Montana throws the ball to him. The field was unplayable, before the game. And George Toma came in and worked his butt off all weekend long and brought helicopters in to dry the field. And they were amazed you could even play a game on that field. And then he became the NFL guy that's done every single Super Bowl. 800,000. They bragged about this is the greatest field in the history of NFL football. It was a disaster. The whole freaking afternoon, it was a disaster for both teams. And George Toma, bad way to go out. I mean, oh man, you're about to cross the finish line and people thought you were great. Now you're known as a joke today. Joe Paterno's like, this is a bad way to go out. You're almost there. He's like 86 years old.
He's 90 years old? Yeah, what the hell is he doing
like
at 86? Painting the lines?
Yeah.
Painting the lines?
Okay,
wear that t-shirt.
Good, pretty good argument right there.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Was the field a factor?
It was a factor, and it's been a fact. I think that has been such a thing in sports the last few years. It's driving me nuts. Where they're like, "Well, I'm slipping out there." It's like, how is that like a thing now? It's 2023. We can't figure out the freaking grass. What the hell's going on? That's just annoying. I'm with you on that.
It's like one of those things that's like, how in this day and age you haven't figured that out? It's like we got chicken that doesn't expire for 2 months, but we can't figure out how to do a field, dude. Like how does that? It sent me like, I don't know. It's my biggest pet peeve too, because it does like you said, like the cities that don't have like a dome and they always complain like, why don't you still have the Super Bowl here? It's real football, whatever. And it's like now you're losing that argument because you're in this beautiful stadium. You have this new turf that you guys just moved in, or grass or whatever. And the fact that it's still an issue is ridiculous. You're on the front stage. This is the biggest stage in your sport, and you still couldn't do it. And that brings me to quick pivot before you get to the halftime show. The referees. I'm not going to be that guy. Because my bet won in my favor.
Be that guy.
But I am going to say, when you ref a game early on, you set the tone of what that game's going to be in any sport, right? We've all played it before. Josh, if you get hit late and they don't call it, okay, the refs are going to let you play today. In lacrosse, when I played in college, I had a coach that said the first possession of every game, you throw your hardest check right in the stomach of the best player. And if they call a slash, you know what game you're going to get. If they don't call it, have a day. You can be as physical as you want. It's just the way it is. The fact of the matter is that the refs set the standard that they're going to let you play a little bit. And the fact of the matter is that penalty was a penalty. I'm not going to, say it wasn't. But the fact is, the refs set the standard of they're going to be a little loose with how they're going to call that. And then that final moment you decide to call that is the thing I have a problem with. Set the tone, stay with the tone. If you're going to be a tightwad, be a tightwad. That way every player knows it. But if you're not going to be a tightwad, stay to that till the end. The fact that you call that then, when it wasn't an obvious call, when Juju's hips don't even move, that to me is when the problem is. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Ross Tucker, by the way, to get this point.
I think you said it perfectly. I have nothing else to add to that.
Yeah, you know what I thought was interesting? It was Bradbury, right? Who they called the flag. Yeah. He came out and said, I tugged his jersey. Now, when he said that, whether the people go, that's the manly thing to do. I'm kind of with you, Mara. You weren't calling it earlier in the game. And, in basketball reference, if you're going to call a foul normally in the first quarter, you better call it in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But it's the NFL. You let them play. They let offensive linemen play all the time. I mean, you hear this all the time. Guys are held on every single play. That was, to me, and again, and honestly, God, it didn't affect my sleep at all, whether the Chiefs won or the Eagles won last night. If I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't have slept very, very well last night. I would have been super upset. I would have gone, this is the Mahomes league. I mean, it's like I've never seen a do-over before in any sport until Mahomes played the Bengals. all of a sudden it's 3rd and 8 and you're talking more than 2 minutes remaining. It was the call of the game. It basically took away any chance the Eagles had to compete. Not saying you need more time. Well, you had 58 minutes to get it done if you're, anti-Eagles. I agree. I thought that was kind of a crazy call. And people will say a year ago when the Rams played the Bengals that the same thing happened too. Remember the Rams were driving down in the Cooper Cup, same kind of thing. I think the Cooper Cup one was more obvious, but I think it was like 2 or 3 were called on the Bengals in the red zone on that last drive for the Rams that benefited them in scoring that touchdown. And again, you don't want the referees to decide it, but there are people who make the argument going, man, the referees decided the last 2 Super Bowls.
And not to mention, dude, they gave them an extra time to. Sorry, Josh. They gave them the extra time to challenge that. Do you guys remember that they gave Reed an extra play to challenge that? Just saying, dude.
Okay,
refs, let's stop. Hanging out in the Mahomes bedroom, man. Let's go to your own.
So, Josh, you're gonna go. You're gonna get to that time. I got one quick question for you. Now that it's all over, okay? Now that it's all over, the season's over, Super Bowl's over. As a sports fan, I always say that it's better to lose in the AFC or NFC championship game than to lose a Super Bowl. It is so devastating to lose a Super Bowl for a fan base, for a team. If you were the Eagles, would you have rather have lost in the NFC championship game to the Niners, or is it better to lose the Super Bowl?
Lose the Super Bowl.
I say, man, I don't know. And I don't think you ever want that on your record. No one ever goes, what's your record in AFC and NFC championship games? But what's Andy Reid now? He's 2-2 in Super Bowls as a head coach. To fall to 1-3, we wouldn't be sitting there telling you that he's one of the top 3 or 5 coaches in NFL history if he would have lost yesterday. It's that big of a deal. That just made a legacy guy. Losing the Super Bowl can be devastating. Now, I don't think the Eagles are going to fall apart, but I tell you what, you already had guys starting to complain yesterday. I thought was interesting. A.J. Brown had lost his mind after the game yesterday. Oh, they forgot about me in the second half. If they would have focused on me more, and I don't know about you guys. Every time I saw A.J. Brown after he caught that deep pass, he was double teamed. Like it almost looked impossible to throw the ball to A.J. Brown. But at the same time, you had Smith on the other side who had a great game. He was fantastic. 7 receptions for 100 yards, correct?
Shut up, AJ.
So
shut up.
Yeah. So
You're annoying.
That's the last thing you need. But anyway, man, I'm kind of curious to know where the Eagles go from here. And at the same time, I think Mario was going towards this point, and then you switched directions when you called out Virginia. How much do we look at strength of schedule and go, and the Eagles didn't play anybody the whole year? The Eagles basically had an easy road the whole year. They didn't play anybody. Do you buy that?
Somebody said that to me yesterday at the party I was at watching the game, and I didn't buy it. They're a great team. I think you still got to win the games on your schedule. You don't pick your schedule. I know the Chiefs had a way harder road. Yeah, they're battle tested. I think the Eagles just showed what they were. I don't know. My opinion is,
even in the playoffs to get to this game, look what the Eagles had. They had the Giants 3 times against the Giants, and then you had the 49ers without a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? There's a big damn difference.
But it also led to them being field goal away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and their division.
It's not TCU.
Yeah, but their division was Cowboys.
I agree with you, Mario. I agree with Mario. Yeah.
And NFC East, everyone was in the playoffs besides one team, and they could have been in the playoffs.
It's funny how you guys went this route. I'll recall you guys saying for 20 weeks in a row, the AFC was far and away the more talented conference.
They didn't get blown out. I don't understand your point here. It was a close game. What are you talking
about? Well, I'm just saying you're ranked number 1 in everything, and yet when it came time to show up, and the Chiefs won. They're called Super Bowl champs. The Chiefs had 2 sacks. They're not even known for that. Chris Jones didn't do jack squat.
Dude, you're acting like they got killed. Yeah. They were up at halftime.
I don't think it matters. I'll be honest with you. I don't think the final score matters. I think a loss is a loss in a Super Bowl, and that's all you're going to be remembered by as being a loser.
Tell that to the college football committee, because that's what they're going to think about next year when they have another team in there.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm just saying. Right. The only time the offensive line for the Eagles showed how good they were when it was 4th and 1. Otherwise, they were disappointing too. Everybody was disappointing throughout. Their strengths did not show up for Philadelphia.
Really? I think they did. Jalen outpassed Patrick Mahomes by over 100 yards, and Jalen
Okay, how many
outran
more? How
Isaiah
many more
Pacheco.
passes did he have? How many more plays did Jalen have?
A lot more
Jalen
plays.
had a lot more. They had
He threw the ball
they had
11
80
more
plays.
times.
Philadelphia had
Yeah.
80 plays. Kansas City had 53.
So, but like, dude, so Jalen Hurts proved that he's a top 5 quarterback. He proved that the receiver cores proved that they're pretty good. Devontae Smith went off. Dallas proved that he's a very valuable tight end. Like, I think they proved a lot.
Okay, so last one was about Philadelphia because I know you want to get to Rihanna. Okay, last one was about Philadelphia.
Dude, I hate
The
that
one
you're
thing
making
on
it
my
sound like I'm the Rihanna guy, but
well, you want to talk about Rihanna. I'm not saying you're a Rihanna guy, but you want to talk about Rihanna.
you're making it sound like I'm like her dance coordinator.
Just admit it. You have a poster of
show.
Rihanna in your room. Okay, look. Hold your cell phone up right now and let's see if Rihanna's on the front. All right, no, look. Here's the deal. For the Eagles, to me, to get better, if I was the GM, okay, I think you need a better running back. Okay. Now, if you're the Eagles, do you go and you make a deal and say, man, we got to go all in? We're this close to being world champions. Do you make a deal and say, let's go get like Derrick Henry?
100%. I can already see Derrick Henry in an Eagles uniform. That'd be sick. They should do it.
Or Jonathan Taylor. Mario, you're right there in Indianapolis. I mean, am I wrong? Is that the missing piece right now? It's just that one big back because they're loaded at everything else. You just said it.
I isn't the D line pretty old though? Besides Jordan Davis.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, and I don't know the contract situations for the Eagles. To be fair, I'm just saying, looking at the team I saw yesterday, the only thing it seemed like they're missing to me is that A+ running back.
Yeah,
anyway,
I thought the offense is fine, to be honest. I think the defense needs help. All right, we're gonna go to the halftime show. All right, here's my thing. I like Rihanna. I'm not like a hater of Rihanna or anything. Before I say what I'm about to say, objectively, she has a lot of good songs, right? Can we agree on that? Rihanna has a lot of good songs. A lot of great songs, right?
I agree.
I'll even say this. I think she has more good songs or great songs than Beyonce. I'll even say that. The difference, between Beyonce and Rihanna is Beyonce is putting on a show. Like, she's really great. I think she's the best woman out there at putting on shows, whether it's like Coachella or the halftime show. She does an amazing job. Rihanna was low energy yesterday, which meant it was mid. It was a mediocre halftime show. And either I'm judging it against last year's halftime show, which was absolutely amazing, my favorite halftime show of all time, hands down, or her show was mid. And I thought about it. I went to sleep thinking about this. And I woke up and I said, it was just mediocre. And I talked to my girlfriend about it. We had a long form conversation about the halftime show, and it was a mediocre halftime show. There was nothing special about the halftime show. And don't tell me it's because she's pregnant, okay? Because I've seen pregnant women do amazing things. That was not it. Mediocre halftime show. There's my rant.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I loved it. And then I thought it was great. I was really nervous. So I was really, really nervous that she wasn't pregnant and that she's just still had she just had a kid and everything.
She just had
I was really nervous
9 months ago.
What?
She just had a kid 9 months ago.
Exactly. So I was nervous of that because I'm like, dude, if people think you're pregnant and you're not pregnant like that, I am so sorry. Like there's in this day and age too, I can't imagine I can't imagine. But dude, sometimes I think less is more, and her songs were so good. And I keep in mind, this is a kid that my attention span can really go. So if you just have a little something in the corner going on, I think is pretty cool. You got me. You hooked me. I'm in. I'm in for 2 minutes, but then you gotta give me something else. So
you're the guy that follows the mirror when guys get the reflection.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, yeah. I'm looking at everything.
Grabs the sun with their watch and they're running up and down the wall in school. You can't stop looking.
Yeah. So so that probably doesn't help. But dude, I thought it was good. She obviously wasn't gonna do as much she did, when you're pregnant. But I thought it was good. She did a little dance moves when it was needed, which I thought was cool. I thought it was pretty I thought it was pretty funny how she was just walking down and there's just a random dance guy that just pops out with a little makeup thing and she just does her makeup real quick. It's all right, that's kind of classy. I kind of like that. That's kind of, I would do that, if I was a singer, I was walking down, a bunch of people dancing. I'm like, hey, someone, I don't know, pop out with something for me, So I thought that was cool. So I was, you know,
What do you want them to pop out with? I'm dying to know now.
Yeah.
What do you mean
Yeah,
pop
a
up?
box of pizza.
I'd be nice. I don't know. Maybe like pizza. I don't know. Like they pop out with a drink for you, a new mic, a new outfit going in. I don't know. It was just cool. It's a cool shot.
Okay.
I think what
Out
what
of
helped it
out
was
of
the
10, what
shot.
would you give it? Out of 10, what would you give it? Out of 10, what would you give it?
8.5
dude,
because I think the shots of it was cool.
All right,
You know
I'll
what?
give
It's a
you
good call.
a straight up 7 average. 7.
Okay.
Sorry. That's how I feel.
No, it's
Dave, what do you
it's
think?
fair. It's fair score.
Okay, so I just want to go back to the last year's. Okay, and this is like what stand-up comedians say all the time. You never want to follow somebody that just kills it. I thought last year's was by far my favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
I was into it. I know that I was at a big Super Bowl party, and there were tons of people out just looking at me. I was into the music. I loved every minute of it. Matter of fact, it's still on my goddamn DVR. That's how much I loved it. I haven't erased it in 1 year. Yeah, I absolutely loved every second of it. And to me, that was far and away the best. Now, there are a lot of people who hated it. I understand. Okay. But man, there are a lot of halftime shows I disliked. I laughed when Josh broke it down and he was able to take a shot at Beyoncé, which is always extremely dangerous on social media or anything that has your voice, because Beyonce's army is ridiculous. You don't want that kind of heat, Josh. You're gonna be known
I'm gonna
as
post
the
this
guy
on
that
social
went
media.
after.
I want that.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Bring
be Mario. Make this clip of Josh ripping Beyonce, send it to him so he can post it, and then I'm gonna repost it.
Oh, it's
Oh
already
my
it's
God.
already written down.
Yeah. Not a 10 for me, not a 10 performance. Number one, the lip syncing. I understand people lip sync. Okay. When there's dancing involved and moving involved, people lip sync. And the thing that gave it away was she's here with the microphone, and then the microphone's down on her hip, and it still sounds the same. Nothing changed. You know, we all have microphones in front of our face now. If we move to the side, you aren't going to pick our voices up. But that is what it is. When she said that she's bringing somebody out, I was thinking, all right, well, who's she bringing out? We already know Paul McCartney's there. We know Jay-Z's there. We know Adele's there. You know, like, who's she bringing out? Well, she brought out the baby, is what it was. The person she brought out was that she was pregnant. Fine, it's going to be a great family memory. The show aspect, I'm afraid of heights. There's no way in hell I would have done what she did. Not in a million years. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I go 7.5. I think that's where I'm at. Maybe an 8, 7.5. But last year's for me was a 10. And when the bar is that high, anything that's not last year's show, I'm not going to give it a 10.
Okay. I got a couple things I want to add before we wrap this up. And this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for you guys. Okay. Enough of the Damar Hamlin clone stuff. I think it's like disrespectful. It's stupid. And I don't like it at all. Like, drop it. If I'm his family, I'm extremely upset about it. That's one thing I just wanted to say. And also, a piece of advice. If she is at the Super Bowl and she has tickets and an Airbnb, just focus on yourself, King. It's over. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, it's game over if she's there.
What I just missed? What? Hold on.
What I missed that one too.
If she is at the Super Bowl and has an Airbnb and tickets to the game, just focus on yourself. It's over. Like, that's
yeah.
She saw a lot of that this weekend on Instagram, and whoever that girl's talking to, buddy, it's over. Like, she's on to other things. So that's just my opinion right there. Thanks.
Fun ride for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp close. Who they sit Damar Hamlin next to, by the way? Who's he next to?
I thought he was with the commissioner, wasn't he?
Yeah, commissioner.
Was it the commissioner? Oh yeah, okay.
Roger Goodell.
And Elon Musk.
That's it, dude. If I was him, I'm like, this is who you sit me next to. I gotta hang out with these guys. Put me in the booth with Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. Let me have some fun a little bit. You know what I'm saying, dude? I didn't get that. I saw that. I was like, God, so he almost died for the NFL, and then we're making him go through this.
What do you think of LeBron's?
Yeah.
What do you think about LeBron? What do you think about LeBron's move yesterday? I kind of liked it.
You know what I'm saying, though?
What
what was
game?
LeBron's move?
We pointed at the camera and then put the crown on his own head. His wife just looked at him like, we're doing that, you know. But he crowned himself. Yeah, I kind of.
It's kind of badass. Yeah, I like that.
I kind of dug it.
6-4.
Wait, say that again.
6-4. It's a tough one.
I'm missing. What are we? Wait, what?
Make that crown a little smaller.
I was sitting there going, wait a second. All right.
Yeah.
I tell you what, here's the last thing I'll say closing. I'm a karma guy. Okay. I believe you treat people well, good things happen to you. When the Eagle fans turned that car over in the middle of the street before the game even began yesterday, I was like, you know how many people are rooting against you guys now? I mean, we told you guys last week Philadelphia was an asshole. If that wasn't a perfect example of what kind of trash is in Philadelphia, maybe that's why the Phillies lost the World Series and your Eagles lost the Super Bowl. Maybe you guys are just dirtbags, and that's just karma coming back to you. Good God.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like the guy's just trying to drive down the street. Hey, can I move? The game hasn't started yet. I got a Super Bowl party to get to. Mario's serving wings that he bought on Wednesday. Hey, oh, that's weird. My card's going over. And then everybody's celebrating. That kind of sucks.
The mayor of Cincinnati thought that was a bad move.
Yeah. That's saying a lot.
All right, Mario, did anybody die at your Super Bowl party?
Look, nobody died. The food was fresh. I did mess up though. They were kind of fresh. Meant to schedule it for a 5:30 p.m. Eastern time pickup. Ended up being a 12:30 pickup. Saw that at about 2 p.m. So that was a quick route to good old Zaxby's to get it real quick. But here's what I'm going to say about that. The way technology has came, dude, air fryer is the best investment I've ever made in my life. You would have thought I just bought that with how good that was. So that was really good. Had a Bloody Mary bar,
Nice.
it was a good time. Yeah. Made spinach and artichoke dip, told people it was homemade, bought it, it was good stuff. Dude, but I got to shout out to my friend that's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's a dirtbag. Okay.
What's his name?
Trent Schneider.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't say first name.
Yeah. That's his real name.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yeah. All right. So I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm fasting right now, trying to, get a little slimmer for the summer days. Can't be getting fat. All right. Can't be doing that. So I was like, I'm going to try to slim down, but I got a big sweet tooth. Text him. I said, hey, maybe a little meat and cheese, maybe a little crackers, get like $10 from supermarket. Boom. You're over here. Because he's bringing desserts. He said, I don't know. No one's bringing desserts. He goes, all right, I'm on desserts, whatever. Dude, he brought this cookie dough dip that would make me slap my 2-month niece.
Oh my God.
Dude, so that wasn't the problem. I was like, I'm good. I'll eat only a little bit of that. But then he brought brownies, and I had 7 brownies. Not even kidding you. I had 7 brownies.
Nice.
This morning, I was like, I'm fasting, not going to eat till 2. I'm all set. I'm fine. I'm focused, realigned in the diet. 2 p.m. hit, 5 cookies down the drain. I blacked out. I don't even know what happened. Down the drain. Don't even know what happened.
Oh my gosh! So nobody got sick though. Like nobody called you today and said they had food poisoning from being at your house.
No one did. Thank the Lord. No one did.
Big win, big dub,
big win.
Yeah. Why was it important to say that you homemade the spinach dip? Why couldn't you just say I bought it?
I don't know. I was feeling it. Sometimes I just feel in the moment like things. And I'm like, I want a little more credit than that. So I was like, I'm just gonna take credit for the spinach dip. And I thought it'd be a bigger hit. The thing that sucks about it is I thought it'd be a bigger hit, and no one really ate it but me. So I was like, that backfired.
Really?
I would have ate it. I love spinach dip.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
Thank you.
Me too. Even if you told me you store bought it, I would have ate it. That was
Trader Joe's though. It's pretty good.
Dave's thing whenever we have parties, he likes to make dip in the middle of a loaf of sourdough bread. That's his thing.
Wait, what?
That's from a movie, dude. He's joking around. He's joking. It's 40-year-old virgin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a line. 40-year-old virgin. Yeah, if you see the movie, you'll get the line right away. I know you've seen the movie, but anyway, I don't want to say what context that was. Just a joke towards. But anyway, that was it. I'm glad you had a good time. Josh, you did the party thing too. Everything was good for you. Were you able to concentrate on the game, or people talking to you guys nonstop?
It was good. No, it was a good balance. Everything was good.
What did you bring?
Everything was good.
I went to a Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
I brought a freaking great personality. What did you bring?
Yeah, you gotta bring that. You know, someone's gotta do that. And a podcast. So you gotta bring.
Yeah, and I brought alcohol. That's all you need. Personality and alcohol.
All you need.
What did you bring, Dave?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got the dog right here losing her mind. Nothing. I didn't bring anything. I literally showed up. Ate someone had the taco guy here, California. Mario, it's a big thing to have the taco guy. Ate about 6 tacos. Stayed for 3 plays and said, I can't focus in this backyard. I got to go. And I went home and watched it in basically in my garage and smoked a cigar and put the garage door up because it's California weather. Mario, I know you guys are probably freezing in Tennessee and Indianapolis, but and enjoyed myself. But I said for every play I miss, I got to rewind or rewatch the game. And I don't want to watch the game twice. So that's why I said, let's get out of here. And I bolted out. So that was it.
So you just ate free food and dipped.
100%. I mean, it was a complete jerk move. I didn't bring anything. Not that I probably took the best parking spot in front of the house too. I did. I did. It was probably the people are probably trashing me right now. So can you believe that guy? But yeah, I was that guy. I didn't even bring, I think, the great personality. I think I just stood in the back, ate my tacos, and pulled the old Irish goodbye. I just walked out. that was it. All right, I think we covered most of what we did on Sunday. But so here's the deal. Going forward, we're gonna get one show a weekend for a while, get a little bit of a break in while the NFL kind of gets a break in as well. If the Chargers do something or there are big rumors coming up, of course, we're going to jump on right with a quick show, but we're going to do one show a week. So we're going to get away from the 3 shows a week. We appreciate everybody listening, following, of course, through the show, through YouTube, every which way. But we're going to do one show a week. Is there anything you guys want to mention as far as the YouTube goes, as far as the shows we're doing there? For me, I tell you what, I enjoy watching what we do here because I sometimes I miss your guys' expressions and it always makes me laugh when I'm sitting there watching back and forth of what we say and what we do. But again, you can go through the Odyssey app and listen, or you can go through YouTube. Is there anything on YouTube, Josh, that you want to mention?
Mario, I think Mario has something to say.
Yeah, just make sure you go like it. Make sure you subscribe to us as well. That always helps us. So if you're on a YouTube, if you're just listening on a podcast, make sure to subscribe. I recommend watching on YouTube because it's better. You get to see our faces, see our reaction. Josh just got a haircut. Looks really good. Dave wears a hat that's never straight.
Never.
Yeah. And if you want to watch it on YouTube and say, hey, I want these guys' backgrounds to improve, well, if you subscribe to us, we can improve our backgrounds. So that's more money in the pocket. So just do that. Leave a comment. We do have some comments to get to that we'll get to next show about Keenan Allen, if they should cut him or not, or trade him and what to do with that situation. So if you have any questions, make sure to comment. We'll get to them, especially now if you got a lot of time until the NFL draft. So make sure to do that and then follow us too on Twitter if you guys want. And yeah, just stay with us. We'll keep things exciting. There's a lot of fun stuff coming even in the offseason.
There you go. All right, so we'll be back again next week talking Charger football, and again, we'll talk more about the draft. Most of the shows we're going to do is off-season stuff, contracts, trades, off-season talk as far as moving towards the draft, stuff you're going to want to be a part of. Again, thanks for listening to the Bolt City Podcast. For Josh Palet and Mario Heron, I'm Dave Palet. Again, thanks, Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey.